Charlie's wasn't random. It was scheduled.
He set it up in a way that, like, okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate,
right,
according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
Really.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened because my antennas went up about, they showed the photo of that kid, or the guy that they have, the 22-year-old,
yeah,
whatever. And I was almost going to be like, dude.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like, it looks like a modern...
When Elon Musk and Joe Rogan broke their silence about Charlie Kirk's widow, the internet nearly exploded. What started as a cryptic podcast comment turned into one of the most shocking, emotional, and polarizing controversies of the year. Because in just a few sentences, Musk and Rogan hinted at something dark, something the public was never supposed to hear about. Millions of viewers replayed that clip over and over again, claiming they caught Elon giving a hidden signal, and Joe trying to redirect the conversation, but it was too late. The damage was done. Within minutes, Charlie's widow was trending worldwide, and the whispers began. What really happened behind closed doors? Why were Elon and Joe talking about her like that? And what secret were they trying to expose or cover up? Fake leaks started flooding Reddit. Insider sources on X, formerly Twitter, began dropping alleged messages. Between high-profile figures in Silicon Valley and political insiders, and then, just as people were starting to piece things together, Charlie Kirk's widow herself posted a cryptic message that threw the entire internet into chaos. One comment, one emoji. And suddenly, it wasn't just a controversy, it was a full-blown war of narratives. By the end of the day, Elon had gone silent. Rogan deleted an entire podcast segment. And the widow. She vanished from all social media. But what really happened between these three powerful figures? Why did Elon Musk risk his billion-dollar reputation to bring up something so dangerous? And what secret from Charlie Kirk's final days could possibly be so explosive that even Joe Rogan tried to shut it down? Buckle up. Because what we're about to reveal will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about power, politics, and loyalty. It all began months before that fateful podcast episode. A quiet tension had been simmering beneath the surface, a tension few outside the inner circle ever noticed. Elon Musk and Joe Rogan had both known Charlie Kirk for years, though from vastly different worlds. Elon, the visionary billionaire who thrives on disruption and chaos. Joe, the unfiltered commentator of modern America. And Charlie, the outspoken political firebrand who built a following by saying what others were too afraid to. But what most people didn't realize was how intertwined their personal lives had become and how much of that connection revolved around Charlie's wife. The woman now at the center of this storm. Before Charlie's sudden passing, there had already been whispers. Whispers of arguments behind closed doors. Whispers of late-night calls from unknown numbers. And whispers, yes, that something about Charlie's inner circle wasn't as loyal as it seemed, according to a leaked message thread that began circulating on Reddit months ago. Elon had privately messaged Joe, warning him that something feels off about what's happening around Charlie. Joe's response was simple but chilling. You're not the only one who thinks that. At the time, fans brushed it off as internet conspiracy fuel. But in hindsight, that small exchange feels like the spark that lit a match. When Charlie Kirk tragically passed away under circumstances that were, to say the least, unusual, his widow became an instant media target. She barely spoke. She refused interviews. She stayed off social media. And yet, according to insiders, she was meeting with people like Elon and Joe behind the scenes. Why her? Why them? As one alleged insider put it, she knew something. Something Charlie told her before he died. And she wanted to make sure the right people heard it. Elon Musk, already entangled in political storms of his own, was reportedly cautious but intrigued. Joe Rogan, ever the investigator, allegedly wanted her on his podcast. But every time it was about to happen, something got in the way. Technical delays, cancellations, sudden NDA warnings. And then, as though someone had flipped a switch, every trace of her public presence began disappearing. Photos scrubbed. Mentions deleted. Even her charity website went offline for maintenance. Still, fans noticed one thing: the last post she ever made on Instagram, a photo of a dark sky, with the caption, "They know." It was posted at 3:03 a.m., then deleted just 15 minutes later. But screenshots spread like wildfire. It was that post, "Say many now," that triggered Elon's infamous comment. Because just hours before the now viral episode with Joe Rogan, Musk had cryptically tweeted, "Some things can't stay buried forever." When he sat down across from Rogan, the tension was already palpable. Joe tried to keep the conversation light at first. Cars AI, rocket's butt when he said, "You've been involved in some heavy stuff lately." Musk leaned forward, smiled faintly, and said something that would ignite one of the biggest online firestorms of the year. Sometimes, when people disappear from the internet, it's not because they want to. It's because someone made sure they had to. The studio went silent. Rogan paused, then laughed nervously. "You talking about the Kirk situation?" he asked. Musk hesitated. "I think it's connected," he said softly. That 3-second exchange became the epicenter of a storm that hasn't calmed since. Because to millions watching live, it wasn't just small talk, it was a confession, a leak, a revelation of something much darker than the public had ever imagined. Clips of that moment hit TikTok, YouTube, and X within minutes. Millions of comments flooded in. Did Elon just expose a cover-up? Is Joe trying to protect someone? What did Charlie's widow tell them? Meanwhile, a mysterious account claiming to be a former Tesla engineer posted, "Elon didn't lie. He's been trying to warn people for months." They silenced her. Screenshots vanished soon after. But not before they were saved, shared, and dissected across every conspiracy forum on the internet. People started connecting dots that maybe weren't meant to be connected. Rumors about political donors, about encrypted emails, about a data leak that Charlie allegedly tried to stop before his death. Some claimed he was onto something that involved major tech figures and government contracts. Others said the widow herself was sitting on evidence. And through it all, Joe Rogan stayed quiet. Until last week, during another podcast, he addressed the elephant in the room. "People think Elon and I were exposing some deep secret," he said. "But the truth is, what happened off camera was 10 times worse than what aired." He didn't elaborate. He just laughed, shook his head, and said, "I can't talk about it on here. Not yet." That single sentence, "not yet," was all it took to send the internet into another frenzy. Viewers demanded answers. Some claimed Rogan had been pressured by higher powers. Others believed Elon had been warned not to speak further. And then came the ultimate twist: Charlie's widow resurfaced. Briefly. She posted a one-word tweet that broke the silence after months of disappearance. It simply read, "Ready." No context. No follow-up. It's unclear what she's ready for, but insiders say Elon and Joe have been in private contact since that night. And if the leaks are true, they're preparing for something massive, something that could change everything. Asterisk, because whatever she's about to reveal, ... It's not just personal. It's political. It's global. The tension hit its peak the moment Elon Musk's cryptic word, "It was too coincidental, too precise, too calculated." And then, the biggest shock of all, screenshots began. Circulating of what looked like private messages between Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk's widow. They were unverified, but the tone felt real, intimate, desperate. like two people communicating in panic. Elon alleged, "You need to stop. They're watching everything now." Her alleged, "Then you know why I can't. He didn't die for nothing. Elon, you're going to get us both killed." The internet imploded. News outlets called it a conspiracy circus, but even they couldn't ignore the intensity of what was happening. Tucker Carlson hinted on air that he'd heard similar chatter. Lex Fridman posted a vague tweet, "Not all truths are meant for podcasts," and Joe Rogan. He looked terrified. During his next episode, he joked nervously about the FBI listening in, but his eyes gave him away. He knew something that wasn't supposed to get out. Then came the first confirmed twist what fans now call the Tesla file drop. An anonymous hacker group uploaded a series of documents allegedly extracted from internal Tesla servers. Among technical schematics and production logs was a strange, encrypted folder named CK. Inside were heavily redacted files labeled transcripts, cum, and personal. Experts tried to decrypt them, but one page managed to partially open. It contained fragments of a conversation names blurred out, but one phrase stood out. ... passed the info to her before they could intercept it. The phrase "passed the info to her" became a meme overnight. Thousands began dissecting every word Musk and Rogan had ever said, hunting for patterns, clues, hidden meanings. One user even compiled a 2-hour YouTube documentary titled "The Widow File: Elon's Hidden Message." It received 14 million views in 48 hours. But just as things seemed to be spiraling, Beyond Control, Musk's legal team released a statement: short, cold, and corporate. Mr. Musk categorically denies any involvement, in our knowledge, of the so-called Charlie file. Any suggestions otherwise are defamatory and will be pursued legally. That statement backfired spectacularly, because for fans, the denial only confirms suspicion. Why address something so specific unless it was real? Joe Rogan, meanwhile, tried to play damage control. In a rare Instagram Live, he addressed the rumors directly. "Look, there's a lot of crazy stuff online. Elon and I had a private conversation that got twisted. I respect Charlie's memory, but please stop making this something it's not." But moments later, before ending the stream, Joe slipped. He sighed and muttered, "I just wish she hadn't sent that file." Clip taken, reposted, viral in under 10 minutes. Now everyone wanted to know, what file? That's when anonymous sources began leaking images, screenshots showing a folder allegedly titled Project Sentinel, supposedly sent from Charlie's private email to his wife days before his death. The timestamps matched. The metadata looked legitimate. And the word Sentinel, it sounded straight out of a spy movie. Commentators began connecting it to government surveillance, AI tracking, political donations. It spiraled into full-blown madness. Elon Musk was trending again, but this time not for rockets or Teslas. Theories claimed his companies had accidentally discovered something political elites wanted, buried forever. And Joe Rogan. He was now being accused of helping Elon suppress the truth. Podcasters started turning on him. One viral TikTok creator said, "Joe used to be the guy who exposed secrets. Now he's protecting billionaires." But here's where it got truly twisted. Charlie Kirk's widow went live at 2:11 a.m. On a barely followed account with the handle @TruthAfterCharlie, she posted a short, grainy video. Her voice trembled, her face partly shadowed. She said, "They warned me to stay quiet. They told me if I ever talked, everything would burn. But if Elon thinks he can erase the truth, he's wrong. Joe knows what Charlie gave me. They both do. And if anything happens to me, it's already backed up." Within minutes, the video was removed, but by then, over 20,000 people had saved it. The comment sections went insane. "She's terrified. This is bigger than we think." Is she saying Elon threatened her? For the first time, Musk himself responded publicly. Just one line. "I never threaten people. I warn them." That tweet hit like a THUNDERCLAP. Journalist dissected every syllable. News outlets ran with headlines like Musk's chilling tweet, warning or threat. Joe Rogan's name trended beside cover-up, and the widow. She vanished again, her account deleted. Her number disconnected. But the biggest twist hadn't even landed yet, because just 3 days later, a major Silicon Valley leak site claimed they had possession of the file she mentioned. The one she said would burn everything down. And when reporters opened it, they didn't find documents. They found audio, a voice believed to be Charlie. Kirk saying one sentence before the recording cut off abruptly. "If you're hearing this, something went wrong, and they're already watching Elon." That audio clip spread faster than any political scandal of the year. Musk's name dominated headlines for a full week. Joe Rogan canceled all podcast recordings indefinitely, and the widow's safety unknown. Insiders whispered that Elon had entered emergency PR mode. Some claimed he held private meetings in Texas with a crisis management team. Others said Rogan flew out to meet him in person. Whatever they discussed, it clearly didn't work, because within 48 hours, a new file surfaced, and it would change everything the world thought it knew about Charlie Kirk's final days. But that, as the audience would soon discover, was only the beginning. Just when the public thought they had reached the climax of this unbelievable saga, reality twisted again, and this time it felt like the whole world was holding its breath. Because the so-called new file that surfaced wasn't just a digital leak. It was a bombshell that shattered what little trust remained between Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and the legacy of Charlie Kirk himself. It began quietly. An obscure journalist from an independent online magazine called Shadowline claimed to have received an encrypted drive from an anonymous source. The message attached said only, she wanted this to be seen if she disappeared. That single line reignited everything. The journalist went live within hours, announcing that he was in possession of video evidence tied directly to Charlie Kirk's widow. Footage that, if verified, would destroy reputations and reshape narratives. And when snippets began leaking from the file, the internet lost control. The first clip showed what appeared to be a dimly lit meeting room, a table, 3 silhouettes, and muffled voices. But the audio was unmistakable. Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and a woman whose voice matched exactly to that of Charlie's widow. She sounded panicked. "You don't understand," she said. "He told me this would happen. They're monitoring my house, my phone, everything. If I stop posting, that means they found me." Joe's voice followed, low but calm. "We can't talk about this here. You need to disappear for a while." Then Elon's voice, sharp, cold, and strangely detached. "Once it's out there, there's no coming back. They'll go after all of us." Cut silence. That 30-second clip sent shockwaves through every corner of the internet. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag Rogan Musk meeting and hashtag the widow video dominated X and TikTok. Fans accused Elon and Joe of staging a cover-up. Others claimed the footage was fake. But then something else surfaced, a second clip from the same meeting, this time much clearer in it. Joe Rogan looked directly at the camera, unaware it was recording. He said, "If this gets leaked, it's not a podcast story anymore. It's a national security story." That was the line that broke the dam. Mainstream media could no longer ignore the story. CNN aired a segment titled Elon, Rogan, and the Widow, the new conspiracy web, while Fox News countered with, "What are they hiding?" Overnight, what began as internet speculation became an international obsession. Theories splintered into 100 directions, some said. Elon was protecting classified data that Charlie had stumbled upon during a private donor project. Others swore that Joe was helping the widow disappear through secret contacts. But the most disturbing narrative came from leaked screenshots that appeared. The silence was deafening. Charlie Kirk was never legally married, Elon continued. We verified this. Whoever that woman is, she's part of a coordinated operation. You've all been manipulated. The internet imploded. News anchors cut into regular programming mid-segment to cover it. Some called Elon delusional. Others said he was covering up the truth. But within hours, dozens of posts appeared showing alleged marriage records, real documents proving Charlie was married, except the wife's name didn't match the woman who appeared in the video. Now, there were two widows. Journalists began calling it the widow paradox. Was the woman in the viral footage an imposter? Was Elon telling the truth or rewriting history in real time? Joe Rogan, clearly shaken, released a statement the next morning. I've known Charlie's family. I've met his wife. Whoever Elon is talking about, that's not the same person we met. And that's when everything got darker. Because less than 24 hours later, the real Charlie Kirk's widow, confirmed by legal documents, finally spoke. She uploaded a 3-minute video on a brand new YouTube channel titled For the Record. In it, her face was pale, her voice trembling, but steady. I don't know who that woman is. I don't know what Elon's talking about. But my husband did give me something before he died. Something that made people very uncomfortable. She held up a small silver USB drive. This is what they've been trying to find. And I'm done being silent. The video was taken down within 30 minutes, but by then it had been downloaded thousands of times. Clips flooded social media. Theories exploded anew. Was Elon lying to discredit her? Or had someone impersonated her to twist the narrative? That same night, Joe Rogan appeared on his friend Lex Fridman's podcast and dropped another cryptic comment. Sometimes, when truth and lies blend, even the people in the middle stop knowing which side they're on. The conversation turned emotional. Joe admitted he hadn't spoken to Elon in days. He said the entire situation had gone way beyond podcast drama. And when Lex asked if he feared for his safety, Joe just looked into the camera and said, "You have no idea." Then came the final shock of this phase, the shadow line. Journalist who first leaked the videos posted an update, visibly panicked. His hands were shaking as he held up a phone. "They broke into my apartment," he said. "My hard drives are gone. The only backup is already online. If you're watching this, you have less than 48 hours before they shut it down." The screen glitched. The video cut. The account vanished. But the next day, anonymous users shared a mirror link. Inside was a folder titled Elon_Joe_final. It contained one short audio clip, and it was undeniable. Joe Rogan's voice. "Elon, if this leaks, you know what happens, right?" Elon replied, calm and icy, "It already has." Then silence. The internet erupted. People screamed it was proof. Others said it was a deepfake. Elon denied it again. Joe stayed silent. And the widow. She disappeared again. By now, nothing made sense. The timelines overlapped, the evidence conflicted, and nobody knew who was real, who was lying, or who was in danger. But one thing was certain, something massive was being buried beneath layers of chaos. And if the whispers were true, the next reveal would make everything we'd seen so far look small. Because, according to insiders, the widow's USB drive wasn't just holding files. It contained a full video confession from Charlie Kirk himself. When the whispers about Kirk's alleged final confession hit social media, the internet entered complete meltdown mode. It wasn't just fans and conspiracy theorists anymore. This story had crossed into the mainstream. Networks were running hourly coverage. Podcasts were dissecting every leaked clip. and Hollywood personalities were suddenly chiming in with cryptic comments that made the chaos even worse. Within hours, hashtag Charlie Confession and hashtag Musk Rogan leak became the two most trending topics on X. Every influencer, every pseudo-journalist, every TikTok conspiracy analyst wanted in. People began uploading decoded versions of the supposed USB audio, claiming they could hear Charlie's voice saying, "If I disappear, Elon will know why." Others swore that the audio contained background noises identical to those in Joe Rogan's studio, fueling speculation that Charlie had recorded it right there. During an broadcasted conversation, news outlets scrambled to keep up. CNN's morning segment claimed, "This could be the biggest political tech scandal of the decade." Fox News countered with, "Musk and Rogan framed an elaborate misinformation scheme." But the confusion only deepened when MSNBC obtained footage allegedly showing government agents visiting Joe Rogan's Texas studio. The anchor described it as a possible data recovery operation. Social media went feral. A popular Reddit thread titled, "They're trying to erase Charlie" gained 300,000 upvotes overnight. Users began compiling timelines, mapping out every event from Charlie's final weeks to Elon's first cryptic post. Others started comparing the widow's voice to past interviews, claiming her pitch didn't match, implying the first widow was indeed an actress, hired to divert attention, but not everyone was convinced Elon was the villain. His fans fought back hard. The feed cut mid-sentence. Her channel vanished. Immediately, Twitter lit up with a new trend. Hashtag, "They cut her off." Thousands claimed they saw shadows moving in the background of her stream seconds before it ended. Others claimed her audio was distorted by radio interference. Some even alleged that Elon's account went live automatically moments after she disappeared, posting just one word, "Run." That post was deleted within 60 seconds, but the screenshots remain. Now, the debate has reached fever pitch. News anchors argue live on air. Reddit is divided between Team Elon, Team Widow, and Team Truth. Celebrities are picking sides. Tech companies are issuing disclaimers, and Joe Rogan hasn't been seen in public for nearly a week. And amid the madness, a new leak dropped. An anonymous X account uploaded a blurry image showing what looked like a hospital bracelet with the name Musk and a date just 24 hours earlier. The caption read, "He's not safe anymore." It's unclear where the photo came from, but it reignited global panic. People demanded updates. Journalists flew to Austin. Tesla's stock began to fluctuate wildly, but no one expected what came next. Because just as the media frenzy reached its loudest point, a mysterious figure posted a 10-second clip online, claiming to be an insider from Joe Rogan's production team. The caption read simply, "You're all looking at the wrong person." And then came the words that changed everything, whispered faintly before the video cut to black. "Charlie isn't dead." The world froze. Those three words, "Charlie isn't dead," shattered every theory, every headline, every assumption that had consumed the internet for weeks. Within seconds, the clip spread like a digital wildfire. TikTok, YouTube, Telegram, Reddit, all flooded with the same chilling question. If Charlie Kirk isn't dead, then where is he? Mainstream outlets initially dismissed it as another hoax. But then, something happened that made even the skeptics stop laughing. Late that night, a new post appeared on Charlie Kirk's verified X account, which had been inactive since his death. It said, simply, "I told you they'd regret silencing me." No photo. No timestamp error. Verified checkmark intact. The account had been dormant for over a year, locked by the platform itself after official confirmation of his death. Yet now, somehow, it was active. Elon Musk, who owns X, immediately denied involvement. His PR team issued a statement claiming the account had been compromised. But within minutes of that denial, another tweet appeared from the same account. They're lying to you. Joe knows. That was all it took. Within an hour, #Charlie's Alive became the #1 global trend. Internet detectives began comparing writing styles, punctuation, even the time zone patterns of the tweets. Experts pointed out that the grammar and phrasing perfectly matched Charlie's known social media style. Then the impossible happened. Someone posted a short video on a dark web forum. Grainy, shaky footage filmed in what looked like a hidden bunker or safe house. The man in the clip wore a hood and sunglasses, but the voice was unmistakable. It was Charlie Kirk. "If you're watching this, then they failed," the voice said. "I had to disappear. The truth is bigger than me, bigger than all of them." Joe, Elon, you both know what you saw. The screen flickered. A sound, maybe a generator, maybe static, drowned out the rest. But the video ended with a single phrase burned into the frame. "The Sentinel lives." The internet exploded. News anchors couldn't keep up. Is this deepfake technology? A political stunt? Or has Charlie Kirk somehow returned from the dead? Some experts claimed the video contained authentic background noises that matched an undisclosed safe house in Nevada, once used by high-profile political figures. Others argued it was a regenerated to manipulate global opinion. Elon Musk went live that same night on X Spaces, visibly shaken, his voice breaking. "I don't know if that's real," he said. "If Charlie's alive, then he's in danger. We all are." Joe Rogan, meanwhile, released a 15-second Instagram video. No filters, no edits. Just him sitting in darkness, eyes red, voice heavy. "I can't do this anymore. You guys have no idea what's coming." Then he logged off. By the next morning, the internet had fractured into total chaos. Protesters gathered outside Tesla factories, claiming Elon was hiding the truth file. Others camped outside Spotify headquarters, demanding that Joe release the real tapes. Meanwhile, a mysterious government document began circulating, a heavily redacted PDF titled Operation Sentinel. Nobody knew if it was real. But page 6 contained one line that stopped hearts across the world. Subject K, confirmed relocation, active under new identity. Subject K. Kirk. Every theory exploded into overdrive. Some said Charlie had faked his death to protect the widow. Others claimed Elon and Joe helped him disappear to save his life. A few even speculated that Project Sentinel was a covert program that Charlie exposed, involving surveillance data tied to major tech firms. But the most terrifying claim came from an anonymous hacker group called EcoCell. POST, what they said, was the unedited version of Charlie's bunker video. This time, it was longer, 1 minute, 13 seconds at the 58-second mark. Charlie said something the world will never forget. "They told me if I didn't play along, they'd make me disappear. So I did what they wanted for now." Then he looked directly into the camera. "And if you're still watching this, tell Elon the file wasn't destroyed. That clip was enough to turn everything upside down." Elon immediately posted a single emoji, a key. Joe Rogan reposted it with a flame. Fans theorized that the